Hey everyone, Jordan here from 9 to 5 Toys, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Fusion Pro controller from PowerA. If you're a competitive player on Xbox One, adding some additional functionality to your Xbox One controller might be a good way to take your gameplay to the next level. Obviously, Microsoft has its own version with the Elite Series controller, both the first generation and the later Series 2, but if $180 is too much to spend on a controller, then the PowerA Fusion Pro at just $80 is definitely worth a look. So let's check out what all is customizable on here and see how it performs. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Toys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. First off, when getting the Fusion Pro controller out of the box, you're met with the carry case, the protective carrying case, which has pretty much all of the accessories in it and some literature. So opening up that protective case, first we find the Fusion Pro controller itself, and then underneath a little spacer we find the Mapable Pro Pack, which has all 4 of the paddles. We also find some decorative accents under there, and in the bottom corners of the case we find a pair of taller thumbsticks. Up top in the pouch, we find the removable cable which connects the Fusion Pro to an Xbox One. So obviously this wired design is one of the main things that sets the Fusion Pro apart from the Elite series. At 3 meters or 9.8 feet, the cable should be long enough for most setups, but if you are gaming further away from your display than that, then you probably want to look for a different controller, something wireless like the Elite series. But the cable itself is removable. It has a locking connection to the controller itself, which is really easy to get snapped in here. And then over on the console side, it has one of these inline breakaway plugs to help if the cable gets tripped over so it won't damage a console. But one of the main features, obviously the main thing you're probably excited about with the Fusion Pro, is the inclusion of these paddles back here, which they call the Mapable Pro Pack. And that actually comes uninstalled. When you get the controller out of the box originally, it has this protective kind of cover over top of that. But it's very easy to pull the Pro Pack out of there and install it on the controller. To install the Pro Pack, all you need to do is push this little lever towards the top, and then you can remove this protective cover. You can put that back in the case for storage if you want, and then you take the Mapable Pro Pack, line up where these little nubs are on top, where it'll go, slide that in, and then push down, and it'll snap into place, and then you're ready to go. And with that Pro Pack installed, and if you turn on your Xbox and try to push those buttons, I don't think just by default they have any sort of input. You actually need to map those yourself first. And mapping is very simple, just like on the Spectra Enhanced controller that we checked out from PowerA a little while ago. It's all done through this program button, which is right above the Pro Pack. So to map a paddle, all you do is hold that button, the program button, for about 3 seconds. And then there's a little LED light on the front that will start blinking to let you know that it's in mapping mode. And then you would push the button that you want to map it to. So if you want to map A to one of the paddles, you would push A, and then turn it around, and then push the paddle that you want to map it to. I've been using a Xbox Elite controller for quite a bit, and my A button is on this, I guess, top left paddle. So I would push that, and then the A button is mapped to that paddle, and that's all there is. So you go through and do that with all the paddles. And the cool thing about it is you can map, more than just the buttons over here. You can also map D-pad buttons, you can map triggers and bumpers, and also thumbstick presses. So it's super easy to map, any function to that with the Pro Pack. Since I have been using the Elite controller for a few years, the paddles on the Fusion Pro are quite a bit bigger, and they also seem a little more flexible. And so because of that, it feels like it requires a little bit more force to actually actuate them. And the more that I actually played with the Fusion Pro, the more I got used to that, but it was an initial adjustment. Obviously, I think if you've never used a paddle controller before, then you're going to be really happy with this because it does add so much more functionality to the controller. Moving on from the paddles, the controller also has a trigger lock in 3 different stages. By default, it actually appears that the triggers themselves, just in their longest form, are still shorter than what a standard Microsoft Xbox controller is. But in addition to that, they have 2 additional stages that shorten that trigger pull a little bit, and that's done with these little switches down here right next to the triggers. So here you can see what the pull looks like on the longest setting. Here it is on the medium setting. And here it is on the shortest setting. The shortest setting is still quite a bit longer than what was on the Elite Series 2. I'll show some footage here when I was playing around with that. But it is a lot shorter than a standard Xbox One controller, just their default trigger pull. And last but not least, you can also swap the thumbsticks. We talked about the larger sticks, and we'll show you how to do that real quick. Unlike the Elite series, which you can just pull off the thumbstick from the top and replace those, you actually need to remove the front face here on the controller, which is actually really easy to do. It's just a magnetic connection. So there's a little place for your thumb right here. You can put that in, and you can just pull off the face like that. And with that off, you can then pull the thumbsticks out and you can replace them with the taller sticks. And the taller sticks, they do both have a different shape to them on top. You can see one is the standard setup where it has the textured perimeter and then dips in the middle. And the other one has a smooth domed shape to it. So you can choose which side you want to put those on and then line up the stem with the thumbstick and push it on to install those. And before we put the faceplate back on, this brings up the last little piece of customization you can do with your controller, which I honestly find a little bit pointless because it doesn't affect everything. But these two rings around where your thumbsticks would be, PowerA has also included two additional kind of a metallic green color that you can pop those in instead of the kind of chromed out silver. So it's obviously just something completely cosmetic, and you can just pop those in real easy if you want, but then reinstalling the faceplate, you have the green accents around the thumbsticks, but you still have all of the kind of chrome shiny accents around the D-pad and the buttons over here. So it's up to you if you want to do that. It feels a little bit pointless to me. I would like it to be a little bit more cohesive, but that's just my opinion. If you are looking for other ways to customize the appearance of your controller though, then definitely check out the $40 Spectra Enhanced controller from PowerA. That is also a wired Xbox One controller, but it has different light strips around different accent points of the controller, which you can change the color of. Overall, in use, the Fusion Pro controller from PowerA feels really good to use. All the buttons give good feedback when they're pressed, and the paddles, it's easy to tell when something's being actuated. The sticks feel nice and snappy, and the controller itself is, quite comfortable with a very familiar design and shape. It took me a little bit to get used to the paddles just because I'm used to the Elite controller, but I mean, after I've been using this for a while, I did get used to them, and it was very comfortable and very easy to use. Of course, being a wired controller, you are tethered to your console, which makes it a little bit less convenient, but at the same time, you never have to worry about, swapping out batteries in a very critical situation. So if you're looking for controller customization and the added benefit of the paddles, then at just $80, the Fusion Pro from PowerA is definitely worth a look. If you do have a little bit more in your budget, I guess double what the Fusion Pro is, I would definitely suggest checking out the Elite Series 2 controller. With the added convenience of wireless and some additional functionality in the Series 2, it is $180, but that's still my top pick for Xbox One controllers. I'll link my review of the Series 2 down in the description. So what do you think of the PowerA Fusion Pro Xbox One controller? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.